Everybody, in this video, I'm just going to talk about a few key terms when it comes to AI and LLMs. So we'll just jump right into it. I have the notes here. One of the first things you'll want to do if you're going to be using or utilizing um, like OpenAI API, for example, in an application you create, is you will need API keys. So if you create an account and you go over to this URL, platform.openai.com, and then you can go into the settings. And from there, you can go into billing. You can put in $5 is the lowest amount. And honestly, that's all you need really to start with. You can go for a higher amount, in the future. And then you'll also want to go into API keys and go ahead and create an API key there so you can connect to OpenAI's API. And honestly, that's it. Only just takes a few minutes. So next thing you'll want to understand is tokens. So a token is really just the smallest text unit that a language model processes. So just to get a little visual, you can go to this website, platform.openai.com/tokenizer, and you can type in something here like, I like ice cream, but I also like sorbet. So if you look down here, you're going to see, okay, yeah, I typed 40 characters, but the way the tokens are set up is basically it's not based on each character and it's not exactly based per word. It's kind of in between. So you'll see with, some of the very common words like ice cream, etc. It's able to get that into a single token. This is one token here. The ice is one token, also is one token, etc. Right? But then you have certain words where it's split up. You can see sorbet, this is actually split into multiple tokens. Okay. And they have the rule of thumb down here basically says that around every 4 characters of text for common English, that's a token. Just that's kind of like a rule of thumb. And so let's say for 100 tokens, you might have around 75 words. So this is just a useful URL. You can type in whatever message you want and just get a visual if you're a visual learner. And then context window. This is super, super important. So a context window is basically the total number of tokens that the LLM can examine at any point when trying to generate the next token. And it can only remember what's within the context. So let's say you're in a chatbot like ChatGPT. That context window is important because depending on how big the context window is for the specific model that you're using, will kind of determine like what you can do with that model, how much information you can give it to where it still remembers. Because you wouldn't want to have critical pieces of information, but the context window is too small, and therefore it can't use that when giving you its response, right? So this includes the original prompt you put in, this includes the output that it gives you, and then any follow-up. So a bigger context window might be somewhere like 32 to 128,000 tokens. And that could be good for a much larger project. If you're analyzing something like a book or, a contract or a code base, there's a lot of characters. So there's going to be a lot of tokens, right? And bigger context windows cost more money. Now, when you're using ChatGPT, the chatbot, you're paying for a subscription, so you're paying a set fee. But in relation to programming or creating AI apps, you need to understand how that context window works. So you can choose which model is going to be most appropriate and most cost appropriate for your situation, right? So a small